Pau'uahi'iaka Learning Center. Because you're going to send me your information. Okay. All right. People trying to get on and not giving us a chance. Okay. Whee! Aloha and welcome to the Pau'uahi'iaka Learning Center, and more specifically these next few weeks on Wahipana of Maui. Hi to whoever is out there in computer land. We are all here, happy to have you here. For those of you who are on the Facebook page, if you have questions, you can type them right in to the response lines, and they will let me know that there are questions, and then we can go ahead and answer them. Same here. If you have questions, just let me know, and we can take them. I'm happy that you're all here. I'm really nervous, but I'm happy that you're all here. We have a wide variety of people that are joining us. Everybody from never saw Hawaiian words before in their life to can speak Hawaiian and know these places well. So welcome. We're all in this together. Again, I'm open to questions, but also remember that there are others out there, and if you have a question, I'm going to repeat it so that they can hear, because I'm the only one with the microphone on. Okay. I'm still new at this technology. I love technology, by the way. I love technology. I'm new at this particular kind, so I'm really, really grateful that Dane Maxwell is here helping me look good and knowing what to do. And I'm grateful for his willingness to give his evening to this for us. So mahalo. As we go through this, there are many printed resources that some of this information is in. Among them is Sites of Maui by Elsbeth Sterling, Ruling Chiefs of Hawaii. There's a great book about geography as a whole, Hawaiian concepts about geography, that is written by Kapa Oliveira, that is Ancestral Lands. It was her PhD dissertation that she turned into a book, and it's really quite interesting about how Kanaka look at land. So I would recommend that. Of course, Olelo no Eau by Puku'i, and bits and pieces from other places. If you want any more resources and I use any more, I'll be happy to pass this on as time goes along. We have, during the course of our time, we'll have some nice to knows, a little bit of mele, a little bit of mo'olelo, a little bit of olelo no eau, that will help us to know Maui a little bit better. There's a lot of people, like I said, out there that know more than me. Guarantee. Lots of people out there know more than me. But what I hope we can do is enjoy the learning. So I hope that we can come together and enjoy the learning, and therefore have different things that may help you to share with others. I welcome you. Go share this. Tell your ohana. If you teach, share this with your students, with your halau, with people that you know. I also have a disclaimer. Anybody who's been in my classes before, I have a disclaimer. And the disclaimer is, this is the world according to Hoku, in the four walls that we are in. And for those of you around your computer, this is the world according to Hoku. You walk out this door, it belongs to somebody else's world. But in here, this is the world according to Hoku. So welcome. Traditionally, well, over the course of time, there has been approximately 12 traditional moku that we recognize as being a part of Maui. Some of the boundaries of those moku have changed over time, and today, if you were to look up Maui, they have 3. Yeah, but these are the ones that I would like us to look at over the course of our next 6 weeks if you came for the first session, 12 weeks if you're going to come for the both sessions. When you look today, we're going to look at Wailuku. And when you look at Wailuku, there have been other boundaries that have put this line, this Wailuku line, like by the mouth here. Yeah, that comes in kind of over here. But I like this one because it really does follow the ridge line that comes from Pu'ukukui all the way down, and so I prefer to use this one because it follows that particular ridge line instead of then hooking down towards Olowalu and Ukumehame. So we're going to follow that ridge line. And Dane, I don't know if people buzzing me or lemo me, but you can take my phone because I'm not stopping. In case people are saying they can't get in. Oh, wait. It's this, like that. Oops. Okay. As you look at these 12 moku, what you'll see in the head part of the 12 moku kind of follows the ridge lines that radiate out of Pu'ukukui. So Pu'ukukui is the piko for this side and the boundaries that radiate out from there. On this side, on the body side of Maui, right here, is what is known as Pohaku Palaha. There is a stone up here on the ridge that you can access from inside Haleakala. If you walk inside Haleakala, it's along this ridge line, and then it goes up like that, and the stone is at the top here. It's a long, flat stone, and it's called Pohaku Palaha. And it's from there that all of the moku on that side of the island radiates from. So that is the piko for creating the... I never saw the picture with my own... I never went there myself. It's a long, bloody hike, and so that's not for me. I've seen pictures, and it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing, that rock that is the piko for all of the boundaries on that side of the island. So this is the parts that we're going to, it's called Pohaku Palaha, or Pohaku o Kia Aina is another name for that particular stone. Has anyone seen the rock, like, for real? You went see the rock for real. It was amazing, yeah? I only saw pictures and I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, so mahalo e lama. So today we're going to look at the moku of Wailuku. In general, it extends from right here, which is kind of like where the end of the runway is. So Sprecklesville, Stable Road, Baby Beach, right around over there is the boundary. And then it extends down here. This area is Kealia. Yeah, right in here is Kealia, and then follows the ridge line up to Pu'ukukui, and then comes down the ridge line on the more north side of Waihe'e. So this line is kind of beyond, just beyond Waihe'e. So this is the area we more commonly call in this particular 12 moku of Maui, the Wailuku area. And so, there are many really great things we can talk about, and I hope I get enough time. Okay. Like I said, the end of the Wailuku district is more towards Kanaha Beach Park, the end of the runway, Stable Road. But one of the really great places within that lower section is Kanaha. Now, you will forever say to me, Kanaha. Now, say. Kanaha. Out there too. Kanaha. Everybody, Kanaha. Kanaha. And if anybody says Kanaha, you will correct them. Yeah? You say, oh no, it's Kanaha. And you go, oh no, it's Kanaha. Well, I've always heard it as Kanaha. Well, then they were wrong too, because it's Kanaha. So Kanaha, there's a little olelo no eau that says Pakahi kanehua kapi'ioho, which is the nehu of kapi'ioho are divided 1 to a percent. You can read this yourself, but basically kapi'ioho built in one story, Kihapi Ilani builds Mauoni and Kanaha. In this particular one, Kapi'ioho builds it. Now, we're not sure if it's built or rebuilt, but he's making the walls. Yeah, he's making the walls to this. And he brings builders from Molokai, and they also bring food from Molokai to feed these workers that are doing the walls of Kanaha and Mauoni, and it put a strain on the people of Molokai. So this particular olelo no eau is to say when poi is plentiful, but fish is scarce. Anybody knows what nehu looks like? They're this big. Nehu, I don't know what they say in English, but they're this big. And, when you go to the Japanese food store and they have the little dried fish that's tiny like this, they're silver, like that. So this says that the food was even so scarce that even nehu was scarce. So they had poi, but not enough to eat. This is Kanaha, and Mauoni was to the north and this part of Kahului, which has been filled in for the commercial district. So we all know, those of us who live Maui, we know when it rains, what happens? Ponds everywhere. Yeah, all the intersections get water and there's getting flying all over the place. Yeah? It's because the pond wants to come back. Yeah, just like what happens in Lahaina. The pond wants to come back. So all in here is when the pond wants to come back. We also know, if you drive down Haleakala Highway, that between the Honda service place, the Honda and the 24-hour fitness, has the culvert. Yeah, that always has water. It's draining the water from Kahului into that culvert, and then it runs out right along here. It runs out right along here. Again, the pond wants to come back, so they have to drain Kahului all the time because that's where Mauoni was at one time. So it was two really big ponds that were used for as a lokoi'a, yeah, to take care of feeding the people. Right now, it is a wildlife sanctuary, particularly for the I.O., that's the little guy over here, particularly for the I.O., and you'll know it's I.O. because it has a black back, a white chest, and orange legs. If don't have orange legs, it's not an I.O. And then alai, koloa, lots of other water kinds of birds and fowls still live here. So it's a water bird sanctuary. We know that right in here, yeah, you can come and see all of the river and the pond, and people go and have work days if you'd like to go out there and help on the work days. Kahului, ke kai holu o Kahului, the swaying sea of Kahului. Ku he he kapai pu e o neo ka ihuwa'a. This particular phrase comes from a chant that was written by Keli'i Raichel when we did the 2005 Halawa Ola Hula Conference here on Maui. And he wrote both the Olikahea and the Olikomo. And so this was part of the Olikomo for that particular chant. And it's because this area here, actually this area here, is called Ka'ihuwa'a. So Ka'ihuwa'a means the prow or the front of the canoe. And so as you look on the way the bay comes in, they see it as this extension into like a prow or the nose of a canoe. Of course, Kahului, as we can see, is the commercial center of Maui. And this dredged harbor provides a mooring place for all kinds of ships, boats that come into Kahului. Before the breakwater, right here, was built in the 1960s, it was completely open. And they built the breakwater because the tsunami came in it came, out went Kahului. So they built the breakwater so that it can break the water. As you can see also, it's this kind of curvature for this area. And a kahului is also a kind of bag net for catching fish. A kahului is also a bag net, but it is also a battle formation that has this shape as well, but it is also a bag net for fish. This area in here had two fisheries that I know of. They probably had more, but I only know two. The one that is in front of Maui Beach, right around here, was called kolo. Kolo is also a type of fishing. When it's a net fishing, it's kolo, is net fishing. So this fisheries right here in front of Maui Beach was called kolo. And if you lived in Maui during the 50s, 60s, early 70s, you know that right along here was known as Rawfish Camp. Rawfish Camp was where the fishing families lived. There were houses, kind of like plantation houses. They look kind of like plantation houses, but it's where the fishing families all lived, because all along in this area was great fishing. So the fishing families lived in what was known as Rawfish Camp. And you know that Eddie would go, Eddie Ayel, that's where he was born. He was born here and lived here at Rawfish Camp because his dad was a fisherman. And then they moved to Honolulu and lived in Paoa, yeah? But when they were young, they lived right here at Rawfish Camp. So over here is Kolo, and just beyond the breakwater on the Wai'ehu side of the breakwater is a place called Makavela. Sometimes it's also called Kavela, but it is known as Makavela, and it is also a fisheries place. And for those of us who live on Maui, we know people still fish there to this very day. They throw pole, they throw net, they still fish there to this very day. So on the Wailuku side of the breakwater is a place known as Makavela, and sometimes it's just called Kavela. So it's right over here, you know, in front where the arches are for the fall down place. Yeah. Okay. It is here that we also know, it is here, and before all of this was here, go this way, it's here that we know that Kamehameha landed when he came to Maui to do battle at Kepaniwai. It was here that he also gives the quote, "Imua e napo ki'i a inu I ka wai awa a o he hope e ho'omaiai." So in other words, go forward, my young siblings, let us drink of the bitter cup, bitter waters, there will be no turning back. We also know that when they landed, he had them all dismantle their canoes, take off the ama, take off the yako, dismantle the canoes, and leave them to the side as a sign that they go to die, because there is no retreat onto the canoes, because the canoes are taken apart. So when he came to win or to die. It is also here in this bay that the ship that belonged to Kamehameha, called the Fair American, that's a whole really great story. Maybe when we get to the Olowalu side, we can talk about that story. But it's a really great story. Anyway, Kamehameha gets the Fair American, the sailing ship, and upon it is the cannon called Lopaka. He unloads the cannon from the sailing ship. They carry it, push it up towards Iao, and thus comes the Battle of Iao and the damming of the bodies into the river, and thus the Battle of Kepaniwai. We'll talk about that a little later, and the other name that comes out of that battle, which is Ka'uaupali, or the clawing of the cliffs, as the Maui folks tried to escape by climbing the cliffs of Iao. So it was at this bay that all of that begins to happen. Now, I know there are people out there that may take difference to this, but if you've ever heard me talk about this particular battle, I, as a Maui person, says Kamehameha went cheat because he had a cannon and nobody else did. Everybody else was hand-to-hand battle. So, you know, I know there's Hawaii Island people out there, and I know we all have Hawaii Island connection, blood, everything, but yeah, I'm from Maui and he cheat. This olelo no eo, Wailuku I ka malu he kuava. Wailuku, in the shelter of the valley, or Wailuku, Maui reposes in the shelter of the clouds and the valley. But if we are lucky, sometimes we can see the whole valley. Often, however, we see all the clouds that fill the valley and the mountains. We also know, those of us who live on this side of the island, that we can see readily when there is high wind. And we can see readily when there's high wind because the clouds all up here are smooth, like the wind is rushing right through. Yeah, then we know there's high winds up there. On the left here is Mauna Leo, sometimes known as Mauna Leo. But Mauna Leo, mahalo keli'i for making it famous. And everybody can sing the song. And so now everybody wants to know where Mauna Leo is because he wrote the song. That's the perfect reason for writing a song like that, so that people will come to know that this right here is Mauna Leo. And we're friends here, right? Never mind, there's another 50-something people out there. He used to live down here. And when he would sit in his office, he looked right up to Mauna Leo. So that was the inspiration, and his mother, the inspiration for him writing Mauna Leo for this mountain right here. On this side, the other guardian of the valley is Pu'ukane. Pu'ukane, sometimes known as Mauna Kane, but I like to call it Pu'ukane. And the two of them, Mauna Leo and Pu'ukane, are the two mountain features that are the doorway into the valley. And sometimes, like on a day like this day, you can see Pu'ukukui, which is right here. Most of the time, Pu'ukukui is behind clouds, and you can't really see it. But we are lucky that this particular picture had it showing, so Pu'ukukui is there and is in the area, okay, and I'm gonna say this, again, it's the world according to Hoku in this room. I call the area Maui Komohana. I really call the area Nawaiʻeha, but I call the area Maui Komohana. And it is the water source. Up here is the water source for Nawaiʻeha. It's a wawakua. It is a place where the akua live, because especially like Kane and Pu'ukane and Kane go up that place, because it is where water is generated by itself. Yeah, the wawakua, or the place, the region that the akua live, are the places that the akua exists, so that we who live in the Kanaka, those of us who live down here where the Kanaka lives, so that we can have the things that we need, water, and all of the growth things that we need for the Kanaka to be used. Now, I prefer to reference that place, more particularly from the other side of the island, as Maui Komohana. And maybe I have to do more research to become more comfortable with this, but I like to call it Maui Komohana because I have found two chants in which that term is used. I have found no chants in which the term Kahalavai has been used. So until I find chants, or until I find stories, traditional stories, that say it is Kahalavai, I prefer to call it Maui Komohana, which means West Maui. So what came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. You know, was it Maui Komohana and then they translated it to West Maui and then it became West Maui? Or were they calling it West Maui and then they put it into Hawaiian for these two chants, which are Emma chants? I don't know. So, but I call it Maui Komohana, if on the other side particularly. On this side of the island, it is always Nawaiʻeha for me. Okay. Anybody have any questions thus far? Hannibal, you had a question?
It was about that because I was trying to look it up. I found in the sites of Maui, it was mentioned by Inez Ashdown as
the name,
but nowhere else. So.
Yeah, so for me, you know, until I find chants or stories that reference that, we get chants and stories for Nawaiʻeha, but not for Kahalavai, other than the contemporary song that, you know, Nahua them when are sing, which is fine. I also know, because I would ask him, Keli'i put Kahalavai in one of the mele that he wrote. And I asked him, because you know we're friends, right? Why you didn't do that? I asked him, why did he put Kahalavai in that particular mele? And he said, to time reference the song. So because Kahalavai was in the mele, it time references the song to now, not 50 years before, 100 years before. Another question?
Yeah, Casey asked, by Emma Chance, do you mean Chance composed for Queen Emma?
Yes, there were 2 chants composed. It's in Mele, I forget, the Gray Book. The Gray Book that has chants for Emma. And in there, particularly, there are 2 chants that are taken from the Lahaina side. The Lahaina side of Maui, and they write about the uplands from the Lahaina view. So that's when they use Maui Komohana, is in those particular chants. So yes, it's Emma. Yes, English came by then. So, you know, chicken, egg, I'm not sure. I hope that's helpful, Casey. Anybody else have questions? Okay. Kealia. The western border of the Wailuku Moku is known as Kealia, and most of us who live on Maui are familiar with this because we traveled through, pass around this area every time. Almost every island has a Kealia. The term Kealia for a particular place. And that is because Kealia means salt encrusted or a salt bed. So Kealia is for many places, Kaho'olawe has, Kauai has, over here has. Kealia is the place where salt shows up. And so the same thing happens here. Depending on the water flow, the time of year, whether there's a lot of water, a little bit of water, we know, if you live on Maui, we know that you see, this to me is summertime. Yeah, this picture is summertime because it's drier. When it comes winter time, the waters come down from Waikapu, and it's much more of a pond at that time, and the pond extends over on the other side of the road, yeah, of the North Kihei Road. Okay. In February 1817, a reference was made that this place, this particular Kealia, and the salt pans made very excellent salt. So, you know, we should be able to make salt again. But it's a wildlife sanctuary. I don't know if they want us to go make salt, but we should be able, Kealia made salt before, should be able to make salt again. Another project. Directly below, kind of over here of this picture, is what is known as Kihei Puko'a. Kihei Puko'a is kind of where Kihei Canoe Club is, and across from the store, everything, right in that bend of this particular bay. Kihei did not extend as far as it extends now. You know, place name, okay, this is again my own little quirky thing, is that our place names have been amalgamated because of what? Because of mail boxes and zip codes and the places that they amalgamate to make one big place. Wailuku, Kihei, Ha'iku, and all of the little place names in between gets lost because the post office. Yeah, because the post office. So Kihei Puko'a was in the corner of that bay. It didn't extend all the way down to Kamaole. Yeah, it was just, it even didn't extend as far as Kalepolepo, which is where the sanctuary is. It was a kind of a small place, Kihepuko'a. But the reason we know about Kihepuko'a is because of the Battle of Kakanilua. The Battle of Kakanilua between Kalaniʻopuʻu and Kahekili. It is said that he landed at Kihepuko'a and his canoes, Kalaniʻopuʻu's canoes, extended along Kealia. Kalaniʻopuʻu, you know, this is another one when the Maui guys are like, yeah, no, we bad. The Battle of Kakanilua, Kalaniʻopuʻu came to do battle. He came to do battle with Kahekili. His wife was Kalola, which was Kahekili's sister. So they came to do battle. He brought his Kalaniʻopuʻu brought his finest warriors, the Alapa, Niuʻula. He brought his finest, hundreds of them, and sent them to do battle with Kahekili, who was in Wailuku. So they had to go across the middle isthmus plains of Maui, the area, and I'm going to talk about this in just a minute, the area known as Kama'oma'o, the bigger area known as Kama'oma'o, which is the sandy neck part, isthmus part of Maui. So sent them to do battle, and Kahekili's warriors wiped them out, sent 2 back to Kalaniʻopuʻu to say they lost. Kalaniʻopuʻu gets mad. He sends another regiment out, another 600. He sent 900 first, sends another 600 after. Kahekili's men wipes them out as well, sends 1 person back to give the message that they have lost. So Kalaniʻopuʻu asks his wife, Kalola, Kahekili's sister, go ask your brother for peace. Go and make peace with your brother. And she says, I cannot, because I have come here with you to do war. Send our son. So he does. He sends his son, Kivala'o, who is a very young man, to go to see his uncle, to go see Kahekili and to ask for peace. Because Kivala'o is the highest ranking male in Hawaii at the time, the battle stops. All war stops as he travels across the middle of Maui to go and see his uncle, to go see Kahekili in Wailuku. As is common in this particular kind of encounter, he goes and he sits in the lap of his uncle and asks for peace for his father and his mother. So Kahekili says yes, and he sends food to Kalaniʻopuʻu and those that are left. It was a bitter, bitter pill for Kalaniʻopuʻu, who was from Hawaii and the reigning ali'i at that time. A bitter, bitter pill to have to take food after defeat. But he did, or his men would die. So it was a very famous battle. It shows a lot of things about the two. This was not the first time the two of them encountered each other, but it shows that Hawaii Island and Maui always had things. The chiefs, the high chief, well, okay, so you know, I'm a female from Maui, so this is the world according to Hoku. The chiefs, and it plays out. The high chiefs of Hawaii Island come to Maui to get the high-ranking females as wives, because the Maui women had the most mana and the highest rank and bloodline. So they knew that they get these wives, Garen ball bearings, they're going to have great kids. Yeah, so thus, when Kamehameha takes Keopuolani as his wife, she being the highest ranking female of her time, he being the warrior king who encompassed all of the islands, their children were undisputed rulers of the Hawaiian world. Kamehameha II, Kamehameha III, and Nahi'ena'ena. So they were undisputed rulers because of the rank of their mother, highest bloodline possible. And by the way, that's because of Kiwala'o. That's how come Ke'opu'olani exists, because her father was Kiwala'o. You know, the guy came and asked for peace. That was her father. Yeah, this is really cool. So all this blood rank occurs so that Kamehameha's children will have the right to rule. And so they did. Right, as I mentioned a little earlier, this area through here is known as Kama'oma'o. And it's kind of like from where the Pu'unene mill is until here, all the way down to where you meet the ocean. So the whole neck part is known as Kama'oma'o. And Kama'oma'o is an aukueva. Aukueva is a place where the souls wander. So what? How many of you were raised in Maui, born, raised on Maui? Okay, if you're out there, you can raise your hand too. We all know when you were growing up, we no like go down there nighttime. Yeah, you don't drive down the highway on Polkane nights, on dark nights, you know, drive down there. Spooky. Yeah, spooky. So, yeah, but you know, when you're a teenager, you know, you go anyway. But Kama'oma'o, that whole area is an aukueva, a place where the souls wander if they do not go to the Aumakua. If you have not remembered your Aumakua in your life, they will not come to get you when you die and take you to the Aumakua. So you are destined to wander in places like Kama'oma'o, looking for things to eat, moths, living in the dust, where nobody remembers your name and you have no family. For Hawaiian, that is the worst thing in the world. No food, no family. Worst thing in the world. So the Aukueva is where these souls go. Sad. That's why when you grew up here, Maui, you just, no street lights, right? No, black, going through. Now, not so bad because got plenty traffic, so got headlights, you're not so bad. But whew, when you were growing up, not fun. Don't drive during Polkane nights. Okay. So, here we have perhaps one of the most sung songs that we know. It has had many melodies, yeah, but the one that we probably remember the most now is the one right here that's done by Mr. Come on, you can do it, Ikaika. Mr. Ikaika Blackburn, and I don't know if the commercial going to come up first. Football is back. Yes, it does. Okay, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. We can sing along. Iwaikapu ke aloha, kamakani ko kolonio, lika polina he na he, kiki malie. Learn the names of the winds. Iwaikapu ke aloha, kamakani ko kolonio, lika polina he na he. Wailuku I oe, I kapikoa o iao, I o kapua rose. Oh, that's where the roses are, yeah, on the top tableland over there. Iao. I wailuku I oe, kamakani ho he hai. I vai a o kai. Nikiki malie, iwai e kaua, kamakani Then you go right over the ridge. Hey, hey. Okay, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but okay, we're done. Okay, close. Okay, songs like this have a whole lot of information in them, and that's why we need to learn them. The names of the winds, Elele, the pond that is in the back of Waihe'e Valley. Very famous. If you live in Waihe'e, you know about Elele. So, yeah, place names like this. Okay, so I got it. Quit Safari. There we go. Nawai'eha. Nawai'eha, and we're going to talk about this a little bit. You see Iao over here, but we also know it's also Wailuku. In the Mahele documents, there is a designation called Napoko. Napoko, according to the Mahele documents, were Waikapu and Wailuku in here. And they were treated as a separate kind of land designation. What that meant is all of the resources of that place went directly to the ali'i. It did not pass through the many sub-chiefs before getting to the ali'i. It went directly to the ali'i because it created so much wealth, because it had so much water and so many lo'i. On the other hand, all of these were grouped together, as we talked about earlier, in the Wailuku Moku. When you look at land designation as it's divided into moku. But the division lines mostly follow the ridge lines of these various areas through here. So Napoko was a designation because of the resources that were held in those two major valleys that went directly to the ali'i and was held in different view than the rest. I put this one in because it shows it's a topographical look at that particular area through here. Here is Pu'ukukui, right here. And, you know, we get the man in here that knows everything about Pu'ukukui, but I'm not going to let him talk because I get the mic. But thank you, Paul, for being here this evening. I wanted to say, though, that my most moving experience was to stand there. Was to stand on that little wooden platform that overlooks the ridge that runs all the way down and all the valleys that fall to the side of that main ridge that we were seeing is the dividing line of this area. There was nothing so moving to me than to see that ridge line and all of the valleys that came out from that ridge line because, those are the valleys I knew the best in my life growing up. And to see it from that vantage point was unbelievable. That coupled with being up there among all that water, all dripping from every leaf, from every fern tip, all that water. And, you know, you hear about, oh, you know, up in the bogs, all the plants are stunted. They are. The lehua tree is this big, with full blast lehua on them, this big. And the trees, it's amazing. It's amazing. So it was one of the most moving times of my life. And I thank those who took me. It was my birthday. Just the best thing to do on your birthday. Okay. Waikapu. This Waikapu, I don't know. You know, growing up we said Waikapu. We never really said Waikapu. So, I don't know. That's what my tutu said. That's what I said. That's as close as I can get. There is a place here, and Waikapu also was known for all of its terraces. The water that came down to this very day has all the lo'ikalo and the terraces that fed the people. It is the only valley that has this long open land space in front of it. So it fed all the people in that area from up in that valley. But here, oh, we're running out of time. Hello. Wait. I gotta go. Wait. Oh, no. Okay, I didn't put it in. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. Where Honoapi'ilani Highway and North Kihei Road junctions, you know, where you get the parking space over there. There, over to the side, was a place known as Pu'uhele. It's not a pu'u anymore. It's a lua. They dug out all the red cinder that used to make it a pu'u, dug it all out, used it every which way, and now they're filling it back in with earth from all different kinds of places. But there, it was called Pu'uhele. And there was a saying that you have not seen Maui till you have seen Pu'uhele. Uapuni o Mauiau. What would happen is that, because that means you pass there, if you went around the head part or you went around the body part, you passed over there. So Uapuni o Mauiau, people used to walk, after they went to do their huaka'i, walk around the hill, climb to the top, and give that statement. Uapuni o Mauiau. I have seen the entirety of Maui. Unfortunately, it no longer exists, and we can no longer say that because all the red cinders are gone. Okay, kapali kapu o kakae, kuka'e moa. There's a bunch of different names for this. Iau Niro. Bunch of different names. The valley, we know, was sacred, is sacred. Burials of high chiefs, really high chiefs are in here. And they're not only from Maui. They come from Oahu, they come from Hawaii, and they wanted to be buried here. Why? The magnification of mana, because of all of the ali'i that were here, is magnified here. In addition, probably their genealogical lines connect them back to Maui. So they want to come here to be put to rest. So it is really, really famous. it was from this, not this vantage point, but what is known as the tableland, or you know where the little hale is, you got to climb the 100 whatever steps to get up to, not me, to get up to that little hale, is where, when the Battle of Kepaniwai was occurring, the high chiefesses waited and watched the battle below. The high chiefesses of Keopuolani, Kekuiapoiwa, Kalani Akua were the highest ranking females of their time, watched the battle occur below, lending their mana to the battle. Unfortunately, when it went badly for the Maui folks, their kahu, their caretakers, put them on their shoulders and carried them over the mountain to Lahaina. And then they went on to Molokai, where Kalola, their grandmother, was, and waited for the news of Maui. So they were here also lending themselves to the battle, but also seeing that it would not go in Maui's favor, and so leaving to go to Molokai and safety. Okay, Haleki'i and Pihana Heiau was, it was built and rebuilt over time, but it was also one of the heiau that belonged to Kahekili. He had three heiau that existed in Wailuku. Here, Haleki'i, directly mauka from there in a place known as Pu'uohala, was another heiau called Kaluli. And then under Ka'ahumanu Church. Ka'ahumanu Church was built on top of Kahekili's heiau. His compound was right there around where the intersection of High Street and Yao Valley Road, right in there where the church is over here, and you know the building with the pukas, look like toilet paper coming down with the pukas, yeah. That building, all in there was his compound. One of his heiau under where the church is, up in Pu'uohala at Kaluli, and here at Haleki'i. Kahekili was a very religious man and spent much of his time at any one of these three heiau because his center of government was in Wailuku. When Kamehameha wins the Battle of Kepaniwai, he comes here at Haleki'i to do his battle ceremonies to Kukailimoku, his war god. So he does his ceremonies for Kukailimoku here at Haleki'i, and before moving on to Molokai to get Keopuolani as his wife. See, this is actually a little drone thing that picture that went and but we no more time. Maybe next time you can see the drone go up. Okay. Because I wanted to get here. Okay, we're going to stop over here then, even though we didn't get all the way down. Ka'ehu Bay. This is Ka'ehu Bay, right here. Over here is Paukukalo, known as Paukukalo Hawaiian Homes, actually Kauahea. I'll tell you why I know that. Kauahea, and then this is, what is that? Wailuku Heights. Whatever, well, no. Wai'ehu Terrace, yeah, is over here. So this is Ka'ehu, right in here. So this is Wailuku River comes down, and over here is where Wai'ehu River comes down. And you see where these coconut trees are? That's where I was raised. This is where I was raised. My family has lived within sight of Haleki'i heiau for more than 6 generations. And my mother was raised in what is known as Paukukalo Hawaiian Homes, but in our family we know it as Kauahea, is the old name for that place. So it's Kauahea. and then this is Ka'ehu. So right around here today, right around the middle of the bay is where, actually right closer to the river, is where the dividing line today is of Wai'ehu and Wailuku. So this area, you see all this white water. Anybody know what that means? Get reef. Yeah, get reef. So the reef is close. Fishing is easy. Fishing is easy in here. Really shallow in here. The kind come up to your thighs, kind of shallow. Really shallow. Really shallow in here. Dane's ohana comes from right here. Yeah, his great-grandma, yeah? Great-grandma. And grandpa was from here. Yeah? So shallow. Great he'e, great papa'i, all the kind of things you're going to find in the reef. And before was illegal. Great turtle hunting before was illegal. And then all up here were lo'i. All up through here were lo'i. So a great place to raise food. So all of this here means the reef is close. So reef fishing is easy. Deep fishing is not far. Yeah, not far. The canoe landing came through here. Right through here is where the canoe landing was, and it came up into this area. Oh, sorry. Shake this one. Okay. The canoe landing came through here and up into this part of the bay. The bay closer to Ka'ai Road. Yeah, closer to Ka'ai Road. Again, I was raised by my grandparents right here, the last house. Raised by my grandparents, so all of my cousins and my uncles and everybody went diving, and my tutu was, to me, was the best with limu and everything found in the kaheka, in the tide pools. So, this is the place that I called home. However, if you go over there, you would probably go, oh, why do you like this place? Because get plenty rocks and pokey and, well, because it's home. Yeah, because it's home. Why people like living on the lava? Because it's home. Yeah, why they like living in really hot place? Because it's home. So over there, the bay has lots of rocks, and right now the shoreline is very small, very narrow. But when I was growing up, it was wide. It was very wide. So we can see what climate control is doing to this. Yeah, and no more limu over there anymore, because there used to be a sugar, what you call? Way up by, mill. You know where the mill place is up there? That's where the mill was. And they used to dump the bagasse, the excess, into the river, into the Wailuku River. And then depending on the time of year, it would come back inside to the bay. And there were times when it piled up so high and so wide that you couldn't walk the beach because it was full of bagasse. Everybody know what bagasse is? Yeah? Okay. So anyway, we only got this far in what? Time already? Pass already. Shucks. Pass already. So we'll continue. I could try rush next time. Yeah, I go rush next time. Anybody have any questions before we pout? So, one of you guys over there, you're supposed to give me the high sign. No more time.
No, there's none besides the question from Casey.
Oh, okay. But what time? Time for us to go, yeah? What time now? 8:02. Okay, we're pretty close. Oh, I got a good little tick-tock in me. All right. Anybody have any questions before we go? Because I don't like rush the other valleys too much. Anybody has any questions? Yes, Hannibal.
Back to the battle. So
yes.
Kahekili passed away before Kamehameha came.
No,
and one, no.
no. He was living on Oahu. And Kahekili had passed, but not Kahekili. Kamehameha did battle with Kalani Kupule, who was Kahekili's son. But Kahekili was living on Oahu because he had taken over Oahu too. You know. See, Kamehameha was smart. You whack off Kahekili, you get every island. Because Kahekili already had Maui, Molokai, Lanai, Oahu, and because of his brother, Kauai. So he already had all of that under his kingdom. So you whack off Kahekili in like fleet. Yeah, so no. Kamehameha did battle with Kalani Kupule. Yes, was Kahekili's son, but Kahekili was living in Oahu. And then the message was sent to Kahekili asking if he wanted to do battle or to have peace. And so Kahekili said, when I'm dead, you can come. So that's how the Battle of Nu'uanu happens on the island of Oahu. After Kahekili dies, Kamehameha went. He built Pu'ukohola Heiau for that battle, and then he went to Oahu. Any other questions? Okay, Pauka Papa, mahalo, see you next week. Sorry, I didn't.